But LSU-Florida, T, when you heard the initial news, what did you think when this game being postponed?
Well, I mean, we kind of knew it, right? But even more than that, after I got the news, the news that I didn't know was about Myles Brennan. So when I heard that he was out, I think I tweeted immediately, cancel the game now. I mean, you were going to be missing your lone bright spot on the year so far going into the swamp. And what looked like it could have been a pretty contentious swamp. So, I mean, look, my takeaways first and foremost, my guy Evan Sachs, who's one of the funniest guys on Twitter. I'm obsessed with this kid. But as he tweeted out, stress-free football for Louisiana football fans this weekend. And good football, too, right? Really good games on the docket as well. But nothing that's going to potentially ruin your Saturday. No Saints this weekend, so nothing that's going to potentially ruin your Sunday either. Just kick back, get some drinks, get with some friends, really lean into this stress-free football weekend. More so, LSU fans, in my opinion, should be ecstatic about this, right? I mean, this works out great for LSU. You avoid falling to 1-3, which is looking very real. You don't have to start a freshman at quarterback. You now have extra time to get this defense fixed. You have an extra week of practice to do the soul-searching required to get these personnel issues fixed. Because South Carolina is now the next game, you have a golden opportunity to improve to 2-2 ahead of that Auburn game. And then, look, you got Auburn and Bama back-to-back. And that's big right there. I mean, that could go to 3-3 or 2-4. Either way, if you had not had this Florida game canceled, there was a good chance that you'd maybe be staring like 2-5 in the face. So I think that this works out great, and it also gives obviously Myles time to hopefully get healthy for that South Carolina game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it looks like and sounds like the Brennan injury is much worse than it obviously looked in Saturday's game.
Well, I mean, he finished the game, right?
He finished the game. And then throughout the week, some of the reports that you're hearing with him being questionable and possibly being held out of Saturday's contest if it was going to go. So look, it is a win for LSU. I don't know if this doesn't delay the inevitable. What am I watching?
Okay,
TV right now?
I saw this on the internet yesterday. It's been going viral. This is a full contact football league with no pads or helmets. And I think they play with 7 people on the field. So it's some sort of unholy amalgamation of rugby sevens and football where it just is absolutely brutal. Just looks like broken nose and collarbone central. I would never. Okay, so we've talked about it from the LSU perspective. From the Florida perspective, I think this sucks for them.
I agree.
And it's on them. But, I mean, this sucks because now that December 12th rescheduling, look, if Florida goes the way that they could this year, there's a very real chance they will go into that December 12th weekend needing to beat LSU to get to Atlanta. More than that, depending on how things go for the rest of the year, there's a possibility that they might have to play LSU that Saturday week for the SEC while their Western counterpart could be chilling. In classic Alabama fashion, if they manage to not have a game postponed, Alabama would likely win the West, and then they'll be hanging out for 2 weeks while Florida's having to prepare for LSU in between. So, yeah, this is just bad, and the timing would have been really good for Florida now facing an LSU team that's at its kind of rock bottom and then even missing Myles Brennan. That's why I joked that Mullen was probably having to think long and hard about whether or not he wanted to play this game with 40 scholarship players because they still stood a pretty good chance. So yeah, if you're a Gator fan, this is a pretty brutal break.
Not only that, I mean, you're hopeful if you're an LSU fan, and if you're looking at it from Florida's vantage point, this has got to be the lowest point of Orgeron's tenure at LSU outside of that Troy week.
Yeah, not lower than that. Even though
as low. I mean, listen to his tone last night on his radio show. I mean, the feeling around the fan base, the morale of the program outside looking in is very shaky.
Yeah, again, it's just so shocking how people are questioning already again, and how much of the goodwill from a Natty already feels like it's been erased. And I'm not criticizing anybody who feels that way. I mean, I do think it's a bit reactive for me personally, and I think the overall health of the program is still very solid. But I'm not criticizing anybody that feels that way because it's just a sign of how astronomically bad they've been. Again, the stat I can't get away from. You're 1-2, and the teams you've played have a combined record of 2-7, with the only 2 wins coming over you.
And every team
that is just heartbreaking.
Every team you've played this season, when you've played them, they've been winless.
Yeah, Yeah. I mean, yeah. And it's early on, but still, it's not. So I guess, yes, the current temperament is a sign of how bad it's been. I still don't think it's as low as that Troy game. Remember, that Troy game resulted in a lot of victory lapping that, was definitely not the man for the job. This is going to doom LSU to irrelevancy for years and years and years. And look, maybe we draw some lessons from that, right? Because that was a low moment. And then next year you won the Fiesta Bowl. The year after that, you won a national championship. So although we're feeling very reactive right now, there is, information, if we're using history as an indicator of future events, there's information that we can pull from that'll make you feel a bit better. It's the elephant in the room is simply Bo Pelini.
Yeah.
And I like Coach Pelini. I obviously played for him, right? And so all of this is tinged with awkwardness where, I feel badly because I want the best for him. That's a guy that I every day was on the scout team as he was coaching up the starting defense. I think he was a very good coach at the time, but he is the elephant in the room because he's brand new. He was hyped up so much. He's paid so much despite the fact that there didn't even really be a market for him, and his buyout is massive. And it's been historically and astronomically bad. So, the Bo Pelini question is the one that they have to get answered. Now they have a second week to do so, and it can't be worse, so it's got to get better. I guess the question is just how much better can it get? And then again, maybe it can't get worse because you're playing way better offenses. So,
I mean, I anticipated. Look, if the game was
if
scheduled,
South Carolina does, I can't even. Mizzou did. I can't.
Now with the way that the schedule lays out, you seem like you get yourself a little bit of a pass come next Saturday versus South Carolina, another get right type game for LSU.
Have not gone well for LSU.
They have not gone well when you look at them from that.
Vandy did, but not Mizzou.
But not really. I mean, if you look at Vanderbilt, they ran the ball on you.
Yeah, the first half especially, they did have 100 rushing yards. They had a couple big drops as well. I mean, the bigger thing with Vandy is they are so bad, so bad that you just can't really take. Unfortunately, you can't take anything away.
Yeah, if anything, Vanderbilt was a huge winner this weekend with having that game postponed. They'd probably want it canceled, so rather than being 0-10, they can be 0-9. Chad Durbin talking baseball next.